Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the show. I started a little late, but I'm here. I'm here. So let's get this thing started. We'll do a little long intro, and we'll see who joins us. I think I'm supposed to have at least one person join me, so we'll see. It is the transfer season.
This is DWTT coming to you. The Emirates. Here we go on our way now. Say hi, Mark.
What's going on? Happy.
And down there, what do we got? On the stoop, low. Cool. Hello, we're at the Tollington. Hello. We're at the Tollington. We just saw a couple players go by. Bruce Nelson, Dinchenko. Hey, dude. Another player just went by. Crazy. Another player just went by. This is great.
Hello, people. Welcome to the show. Yes, see, we got a couple people joining us. Welcome, Spencer, to the show. Lonzo is in the house. Welcome. Riddy is here with us. Got Lonzo saying hello. Everybody saying hello. Big Scunner still in bed listening along. Thank you for that. So it's another Saturday morning, another road trip. Let's get into this. Lots of stuff going on. Arsenal's doing it to us again, right? They're doing it to us again. So it's not even they're doing it to us again, but it is still early. But it is, you kind of feel like at some point they're gonna get this thing. You're gonna move a little bit faster. I mean, not that it's bad. So you're watching the Ashes. That's right. Edu's piss you off, huh? I just don't. They sound like they do a lot of. They talk about doing all this extra work that they're doing, right? It seems like they've been talking about all these different players for months. It seems, at least the way the media pushes it out there, and I don't believe that's not coming from at least in-house, or they aren't true. But still, we're sitting here, and I kind of feel like, what's going on? Why have we? It seemed like we move along. At least, if Rice is your primary target, and you know what they want, at some point, looks like we're going to get to that number anyways, right? Looks like we're going to get to that number anyways, so why not? Colonel Ward is joining us. Hello. Yeah, I saw that, and we'll get into that as well. That's a good one. We'll talk about PSG, Colonel Ward. But yeah, welcome to the show. Craig has joined us as well. Welcome to the show. We'll get it going. I believe I've sent the guys the link. So you know what? Before I forget, or before I continue on, let me make sure. I've been known not to send the link out, but I believe I have sent the link. So let's just make sure that everybody has the link so they can join us. Yep, they do. So they should be coming in any minute now, or soon, hopefully. Otherwise, it's just me and you. We'll talk it out. But yeah, I think a lot of people have said this about Arsenal and how things have changed since they moved into the Emirates. To some degree, I kind of feel like a lot of it is just what football is. Everything's changing. Just happened to correlate with a stadium move, but I don't think it's anything that is new to the landscape of world football. I think, you look around, you see the same things everywhere else. This is what happens when you get away from the football and you get into the money-making part of the business. Everybody's out there trying to make some money. Before we get started here, before I continue on, Mr. Tom has joined us, so welcome, Mr. Tom, to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, cool. Got a full house today, so I think they're going to want to hear what we have to say, hopefully. We have some good things to tell them. I just got to come through Arsenal's the early window synopsis, basically. And I know it's early, but I also feel like they could do better, because
we're still talking about Declan Rice.
We're talking about everything, man. We're gonna talk about everything.
Declan Rice, I'll be back on that.
I assume he'll be back. What does he think we're going to talk about? He's actually left the show, so I don't know. Maybe he'll come back. I don't know. Mr. Tommy, he's his team. It looks like they quit football. He's quit football, so maybe. Oh, look! He looks like he's back. He's sitting there laughing. I've never had anybody just jump out of my show, and Mr. Tom just did it because I said
Well,
rice.
it amused me. It amused me, all right. That's the important thing.
Yeah, Sam is still out there gallivanting around. Who knows doing what, with who, on what, and where. But he's enjoying himself. He's taking a little break, enjoying that. So yeah, he's out there now. I was just talking about how I feel like Arsenal. It looks like I don't feel like they plan, but their planning hasn't gotten better. Yeah, and their understanding of how this thing works doesn't seem to get any better, especially with the players that they actually go out there to get. They're going to cost money. If the team's already putting out big money amounts, they know what they're dealing with. This shouldn't be a surprise. If the player is what they want, they should just go get the player. Because at the end of the day, they get there anyways. Most of the time, like I haven't seen one of these big deals where Arsenal didn't get to the number, but then failed, either because they didn't want to give up more money, in terms of the payment structure, or somebody else came in. So, yeah, I don't think we're on our fourth or fifth options just yet. I kind of feel like some people, when we first started this thing, can you get Rice and Casado? And a lot of people were saying probably not for the monies it's going to take. And Casado looks like it is what it is. I don't know if we could afford to spend over 100 on two players in the same area on the pitch. Do we need to? I think we do, because Casado and Rice gives us a lot. I think at least the potential is that we're going to get all the money money's worth. Oh, Mr. Tom, I don't know what you feel about that in terms of what you've been hearing or what you've been reading, or how you see people responding to this whole Rice thing and Casado thing and Chelsea thing. You still there, or are you muted?
No, I've there's not really much to say, is there? I mean, we're like 4 days into the window. A player's on international duty. So in theory, he shouldn't really be concerned with club football at the moment. I know life doesn't work like that, but ideally for him and his professionalism, supposedly, he's going to be. You have people around him obviously doing that for him, so you're not likely to get anything major announced until these England matches finish anyway.
Interesting. Yeah, I hear you.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but
but it's not even. I don't think this has anything to do with the player at this point. None of this has anything to do with the player. And Sam did hear his voice getting talked about. And what did he just say? I can't hear anything. He's in an exotic Far Eastern beach bar enjoying ladies, sexy ladies, he says, in bikinis, drinking mojito. Yeah. Well, we're just saying, really needs to calm down.
No, I get what you're saying,
yeah.
But I mean the perception, like that. It's not with the player, but the public perception will be if anything happens, it's him driving it. So then people will be like, "Oh, what are you doing thinking about your club football when you're in England?" Because people are like that. I know that's bollocks, okay, but the wider spectrum of people don't think like that. They are like, you can't focus on two things at once, or you can't. There are people, like for example, there are people out there that are upset that Jack Harrison put a photo on the internet of him enjoying his meal on holiday. Because apparently he's supposed to spend the next 4 months sat depressed in a room. Basically, he's supposed to behave like Leeds fans, basically, because Leeds fans are like that. Yeah, basically, there are people who are like, "Oh, you're not allowed to enjoy your summer because the season didn't go the way I wanted it to go. People are weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. But I can't even remember how that tied into what we were talking about before because I just went off on that. But
Yeah, no, we're just talking about, you know,
yeah.
the
So
speed
hello, Lolo.
or the speed or the not so fast turnaround time of what's going on. And before I forget, because I saw this
That
morning,
makes
and
sense.
but I wanted to say thank you to everybody for the support. We've hit the 150 mark on the channel. I don't know if I did this when we hit 100, but I'm definitely doing it now. So we hit
150
150.
people.
150 people are subscribed to the channel. They like what we do. They like what we do. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool for us, anyways. It's
That's
not.
mad.
It's not.
That's mad.
It's
I
not.
don't believe
It's not.
people
It's
know
not.
what we
It's not
do. You went
150,000,
round
but
50
it's.
people's houses with a gun, didn't you? Nah, you held a gun to them. You were like, press that subscribe button. Press the button.
People like
No way. No way.
what we got to say.
Don't
People
believe
like
it.
what we got
Don't
to
believe
say.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I kind of sometimes agree with what Craig's saying here. Just give them, if they gave them 100 and said there's no bonuses, screw that. Here's your money, and then they move on. You know, instead of having to do all this like finagling and stuff like that. I think now the latest bid is like 90 plus 20 or something like that. If somebody said here's 100, wouldn't that be a
Yeah.
good number as well? You know, what are you gonna say?
I'm not saying this to be a dick about Arsenal, but I suspect, this purely my opinion, and it's not based on any fact or anything, is
Mm.
Arsenal have added in, if we win the title, we'll give you £10 million. And West Ham are
Yeah.
looking at that going, well, you ain't going to win the title.
Yep. Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying
Like I said,
be dick, but that's
yeah.
probably what you've done.
Well, it's
Like,
it's
I think
that
you did
Champions
similar with
League
Aubameyang.
or yeah. No, this stuff is, at least when it for the club. The club doesn't care what the club doesn't care. I don't think they care what you do. I mean, they get like, and not only that, but if we were getting rid of, for example, a Saka or an Erdogan or Martinelli at this point, we don't really. I don't, as a team, I don't want you to be successful if you're going to take my play away from me, but I want the most money I can get up front anyway. So that's how I would be looking at it. Because if they take a player from you and they're successful and they give you the bonus, does that actually make you feel better? Does it make you feel good? Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, like, say like Man City put the 80 million plus 10 million if they win the title. Realistically, West Ham will look at that and go, well, at some point over the duration of the contract, we're probably going to get that 10 million. Even if it's not the first year, at some point across the 5 years, we're going to get the money. Whereas they would look at Arsenal and go, that's not necessarily the case. Because, like, I know the situation you're in and you're pushing for that, but from West Ham's perspective, are you likely to achieve that? And that's maybe why they're looking at, why can't you just give us straight money?
True. Yeah. I don't. I mean, yeah, I get it. I just don't. I mean, for me, I just want Arsenal to just close it out, just move on to the next thing. So yeah, and the whole low balling the club. So did you see what Chelsea did? Casado, their first bid for Casado was less than Arsenal's bid last what is it, last winter, or I guess in January. So they bid less than that to start. Nobody says a word. Arsenal bids what, 80 and 10 for Rice, and they are poor bad business. Doesn't look good. I personally, the only reason why I don't like the way that they handle that is because they're not disciplined enough in what they're going to do next. If it like they don't, nobody thinks they're going to walk away when they get rejected. At some point, Arsenal's going to have to just walk away. Say, this is the number. You got 24 hours. I'll talk to you later. You know what I mean? Because at some point, you just can't. You can't be. I think we spent too much time going back and forth. Like, why does it take days to get the next bid out? What's like what is really changing from the first bid to the second bid? Right? You don't need a calculator to figure out, oh, well, they don't want this. We're going to have to add another 10, 20 to it. Let's see. I'd rather sign 38-year-old Santi Cazorla than Declan Rice. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think if you're concerned about, yeah.
That's a take. That's certainly a take.
Yeah, it doesn't answer the question that Santi Cazorla doesn't answer the question that Arsenal's posing with and Declan Rice answers. They're not the same. We supposedly have an Erdogan, right? And Santi Cazorla is similar in terms of where he would play on the pitch. So I don't think we need a Santi Cazorla. We definitely need a Declan Rice. Partey, we know, isn't going to be around forever, and Partey hasn't been around for a whole season yet. So, yeah. Sam, I'm not far away.
I'd rather have a 57.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a 57-year-old Tony Yeboah than Patrick Bamford, but.
Yeah, no, you could do much better with some of the players that you have, and you don't need to go spend too much to get better. Margate is similar to where Chris Nix, welcome to the show. Margate is similar to a Far East country that Sam's at. All right. I don't know where this Margate place is. Is that like near you or something? Where's Margate? I don't know. Welcome to the show, Ryan. Thanks for joining us. We got Lolo, like you said earlier, is joining us. Arteta to PSG, I did see that, was it Lewis Campos did reach out to Arteta and see if he wanted to join them. Arteta said, no, I like what we're doing here. Does he? Does Arteta like what we're doing here? These transfer windows for me are like a pain because we don't seem to be moving the way I would like us to move. I would like to have everything done and then just go on vacation. I'll see you in July before we head out for our trip to US. That's kind of what I want. England needs to break this partnership. Which partnership is he talking about?
I believe it's cricket.
Oh, they don't. Oh, the Ashes. Are they getting beat bad?
I believe it's the cricket.
Are they losing really bad or something? Is it?
I believe Australia had a poor morning and they've recovered from it.
Okay, so they're 393 for 8, and Australia is 198 for 4. For those who needed to know, they're down by 195 runs in this third session on the second day. So I guess they're doing pretty good, halfway to getting ahead of England. People need to breathe. Yeah, breathe. I'm breathing. I just like I like this. I just want to see us going and finish off and do the as they say, get things done.
I was going to say, I'll need Alonso to finish this sentence. Tom, you're, and then there's nothing behind it.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that one.
That leaves so many possibilities. Many possibilities. It could be like, Tom, you're a see you next Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tom,
there you go.
You're correct. Not going to say that, but it's the biggest mystery of the show.
Yeah.
In about 40 years' time, I'm going to be sitting there. I'm going to say to my niece and nephew, I still don't know what Alonso said on the 17th of June 2023. I still don't know.
At 11:19 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah. Nah,
outrageous.
Yeah. I don't think people are as depressed as they are. This is like watching a game. If it's going right, you're cheering. If it's going wrong, you're jeering. Right? You're not too happy with it. So this is what this is. Yeah. For me, Tyler Adams, Arsenal should just go ahead and, you know what? If Arsenal said, here's 50 mil for Tyler Adams, as Colonel War says, or what about 40 mils? They would take it. You would take it. Wouldn't you take it?
I'd be shocked if we got 40. I'd be shocked if we got 40. I'd be pleased if we got the amount we paid for him, which is about 20 something. I mean,
but what is he? Well, what is he worth? What is he worth? Because you're saying you would take it. What is he actually worth?
What I mean is, in the context of what they're really worth doesn't matter when you're not in the Premier League.
No.
It's irrelevant.
To some degree, it's just not as big. It's just not big. It's not a big part of the decision making as to how much a player is worth because of where they're playing. But it is, the player is a good player, right? He's a good player,
What you
regardless of
find
whether he's in a.
happens, what you find happens is teams will test a relegated team, as in, we'll give you, they'll decide what they want to pay, right? And we can say yes or no. But they know that the relegated team is saying yes or no, or if they say no, I'll put it another way, you're then indirectly saying we're prepared to sit on his 80 grand a week contract, which they know you're not likely to, you don't want to do that. Like, Leeds are hoping someone comes in for Rodrigo to get 100 grand a week off the wage bill. I'm not saying I want him to go. I just mean the business reality of being in the Championship. You can't have players on 100 grand. I mean, he's not, because unless you're completely stupid, you'll have pay cuts automatic. Like, from the second you get relegated, like their pay is slashed. But you still don't. The other way I can put it is, if you see the TV deal for the Championship compared to the Premiership, you could see why players instantly disappear, because you get no money.
Yeah.
You get nothing.
Compared to the Premier League, it's nothing.
Really, I don't think I was trying to ignore you. I thought I put up all of I'm putting up all of your posts. So here we go, just to make sure everything's there.
Sometimes he swears in his post, right, and then it doesn't come up because of it.
Okay. So I need to get.
I'm not saying he has, but there has been times where he has put a swear word in it and it doesn't come up. But then he thinks we've ignored it, and we haven't.
Okay.
It doesn't show up on the StreamYard.
I hear that. All right, I'm gonna make sure. I don't think there's anything that's been blocked, but I try to get it. I try to catch everybody's. So here we go. No, I did not. I don't ignore you, Riddy. I know you're there. It's the fans wanting that the media. Yeah, you know, the media wants to get clicks, and they know if they just. It's like birds in the air. The media knows if they sprinkle some seed in the air, the birds just come flocking in, and we are the birds coming in because they just do some seeds in the air. Money is changing.
I'll give you an example of what you're describing for the silly season, right?
Yep.
There's a clickbait article on going around on Twitter. Leeds are in contention for £25 million player. Plays for Leon or something like that. It's irrelevant. Point is that I look at it and I think, well, for a start, I know we're not buying anyone for 25 million because we're getting rid of people for that kind of money because we need it to foot the wage bill. But then you click on it and the first line is, he won't go to Leeds because they're in the Championship. So it's like, how are you in contention? Why have you said we're in contention for a player we're obviously not? And I knew we fucking weren't, based on the fucking fact that you put an amount of money. We're obviously not going to. Sorry. But this kind of nonsense. And to tie into what you're saying, content is put out there to get a reaction from the people who will react to it. As in, there'll be article in Arsenal context. There'll be articles for Arsenal fans designed to get anger out of the people that want reasons to be angry at Edu or Arteta or whoever. And there'll be balanced articles out of people that actually can display some form of common sense. But I'll say that I love getting hyped over football, man. Just like
this is like, it's no fun for me to not enjoy it. I'm going to be upset when we don't get our player. I'm going to be upset when we're slow. I'm going to be happy when we actually put players out there that we're interested in. This is like a game to me. That's all it's just, like a game. At what point does City harp on West Ham about rights? We'll see about if that happens. If Arsenal doesn't do their job, then that could potentially happen. But Arsenal needs to just see this thing through. Like, this is one of those where, can you just put the blinders on and get this one done? In the past, we've had players on our list, and we seem to drag our feet. This one is one where just get it. This is the one, like, this is your primary target. Get it done. This is like, get it done. Get it done and move on. Russ has joined us, folks, so we don't know where this show is going to go because when he comes in, things happen.
It depends where he is.
You guys going to go into the nod with me? What's that?
You going to the North London derby?
Mm.
The nod.
Oh,
I'm sure he meant to write NLD.
okay. I thought that might have been something English that I just wasn't familiar with. So yeah,
No.
that's a busy time of year for me this year. So I'm not sure, Lolo. I want to. I definitely do. But I don't know when I'm gonna. I'm definitely gonna go to England for sure. I just don't know when. It's on my list. I definitely would like to. I have to check some things out. So, yeah. So I'm a maybe. I'm a maybe. Everybody saying hello. Everybody saying hello. People will always say it's not my money. Why care how much they spend on rice? Same people turn around and complain about Vieira price tag. Correct. Correct. If you're willing to go from 80 to 120 for rice, spending 35 on Vieira is nothing. Vieira is, in that sense, a risk, and that's I don't like taking risks, but he's a risk if that's where you go, right? Right. So I don't like Arsenal takes more risks
I
under
noticed
30
less and
mil
less.
than above. Yeah, go ahead.
What I will say I noticed about Vieira, the current one. When he joined, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he does look like Teabag," and like you were stuck to your guns. You're like, "I'm not calling him that." Like, fair enough. But I know people more and more. The worse he's played are like, "No, he ain't worthy of a nickname. No, he's Fabio Vieira, and that's it." You're
Yeah.
not so bad that it's actually ironic to promote you, Junior Firpo, but you are you you are your name, and that is it. Like you ain't getting no
Yeah.
fun shit. Like, oh, you see, no, you're
Yeah.
terrible. No, he's
Yeah.
not terrible. He's not terrible.
I mean,
He's not good.
I mean, a lot of people call Saka
Seriously.
Star Boy. I don't usually call him that if I'm referencing him. That's he's just Saka to me. So yeah, I
Yeah, but
don't
don't
deal with
people in
that.
football call him that?
And people
That's
in football call
what
him
he's
Star Boy.
called, like
Yeah.
in the
Yeah. Yeah.
community. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
call him Saka.
Arsenal players don't call him Teabag.
Yeah. Well, supposedly he likes it according to Stan. All right. So and Colonel Ward is coming out. He's coming out. He's going after Sam today because one Sam's not here, but also I'm off his list. I hope. But Sam, we're gonna replace Sam with a face painted balloon. I assume he means baboon, but I think a balloon could work too. But a baboon
No,
probably is
a
where he was
balloon. You
going with
put
that.
face on the balloon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought the balloon.
No,
I,
Jesus. Are you calling Sam a monkey?
I did not call him a monkey. I'm just trying to. It wasn't spelled like balloon, so I could go anywhere with that one. It was one letter off, right? Sam probably he's laughing somewhere. He's probably hanging out with the baboons in the jungles of
I don't
the
know.
Far East, anyways. All right, so there you
Outrageous.
go.
Outrageous.
Yeah, nah, Sam's just going on vacation, just like some of us do during this time of year. So he's enjoying himself. Remember, Jesus took a while to sort out last year, but it was done. You know what? The difference for me with the Jesus and the Zinchenko's and any of those other deals over whatever 35 is there either was a relationship or a release clause. These ones where it's like a new club that we haven't worked with before, where Arsenal is it's not a player that has any relationship with Edu or Arteta. Those are the ones that they need to be able to close, especially the big ones. If you look at all of the big the deals that have fell through, where there was no relationship, no past relationship, no association, and all of that, Arsenal's done pretty poorly in that. And that's for me. That means you can't sell your team. What are they saying to their team when they bring him? You know, to the play when they bring him in. That at some point the other team's like, well, no, we're just going to take them for all the money we can. You know, as opposed to I'm going to do what's right for my team. This is your captain. West Ham's doing this too. Is it Arsenal falling down or what? Half of our fan base love complaining. That's true, but I think all fan bases complain. There's not
Oh,
one
people love
person.
complaining about anything.
There's not one
Anything. That's
person.
not even. That doesn't extend to football. That's not even a football thing. It's not even a football thing. I just like. If complaining was an Olympic sport, I'd at least get a silver.
Yeah, I think we all complain, man. It's just part of this. Is we're all complaining. No, everybody just they like to go with the squeaky wheel and say they complain louder, but we're all complainers. We are. You all complain when somebody misses a sitter. We're all complaining. All right. Yeah. It is definitely the silly season. Anders has joined us. Welcome to the show. Yeah. Canterbury. What is it? It's, yeah. Clickbait. Yeah. Bro, Bargaff has joined us. Welcome to the show. What's new with Arsenal PR? Yeah, I assume that's PR or progress or something. Arsenal in general is, nothing has changed, right? I keep doing the refresh to see if something new is going to happen, and no, there's a lot of, there's a lot of Chelsea news every time I refresh. So Chelsea is getting their name out there. Arsenal, not so much lately. The only thing we've heard about recently is Maitland-Niles is definitely leaving us, and him talking. The Ashes is looking like a good series, is it? Let's give a quick update on the score here. Australia is still trailing by 107. It's trailing by 178 runs, 215 for four, just 66.1 overs at this point. England has got a 393 for eight. So we'll see. Yeah, so they're moving along. I think they are averaging. What is it? They are averaging. Current run rate is 3.24. So for those who wanted to know. People trashed Harvard yesterday. Now Top Goon is coming. Nah, you know what? It was poor for Chelsea. I don't think there's nothing. You can't say anything. I don't understand this whole. He was better when he played before Chelsea. I don't care about what he did before Chelsea. Now we've got a lot of tape for the last couple of years. Not looking good. If that was when we look at an Arsenal player who's sitting on the bench, do we go, well, you know what? Before they came to Arsenal and they were playing all the time, they were really good. But now that they sit on the bench at Arsenal, oh no, we're still going to pay top money for him. It doesn't. Why doesn't it work for us? Right? Tierney, quality left back, right? Quality left back, defensive left back, doesn't play much for Arsenal. We're like looking to get back what we pay for him, right? Some people are like, oh, I'll just take the 25. He's probably worth closer to 50, but you look at all of our players that we sell, we don't play them. So they're just as. What's the difference between a poorly playing footballer and one who doesn't play at all in terms of like how you evaluate them? There's nothing. It's the same thing. If they don't play, then their value goes down. If they're playing poorly, their value goes down. Chelsea wants the same monies, and Arsenal looks like they want to cater to that. Yuck. Illy Jed has joined us. Welcome to the show.
Of
It
course,
looks like
Chelsea want as much as they can get for Havertz. They spent loads of money last year, and they've not got any European football money coming in.
Yeah.
They
Arsenal.
need to sell.
Yeah, Arsenal. There's no reason why Arsenal should be going back and forth as fast as they are with Havertz, knowing that the closer it gets to the end of June, Chelsea will have no. They will have not. They will have no leverage. They need to sell. Right? There's a deadline, I think, in July or something like that, or end of June, where they have to get their books in order.
Oh.
The FFP thing, I think.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
So for me, if I believe that's my understanding, anyways. If that's the case, Arsenal should not be any. Nobody's going after Havertz for 70. So forget about it. Forget about it. I did hear about Saka getting an injury yesterday. When I did turn to the show, he wasn't playing. So serious injury. Well, he's got what? He's got 2 months to get healthy. So hopefully that's more than enough time. The man needs a break anyways. This is the problem with Arsenal, the problem with England. They're not doing right by their player, especially Saka. The man should have not even been playing. He should have been. He went on. Where did he go? Nigeria, I think it was last week. Let him just go do what he needs to do. You don't need him to win this game. Foden comes off the bench. Foden can start, and they should be able to win. All right. Foden's probably more rested than Saka is. At this, this is why you have a big squad, so you can put your players on the bench or let them rest. This is what City does. That's the problem I have with the England squad. They are really big. They really got the depth, and they don't utilize it ever. Same 11, no matter what. They have depth and they have quality all around. Poorly. You talk about poor player management. That's it. That's what it looks like. I mean, at some point, Arteta's going to have to tell Southgate, he ain't coming. He's injured. He can't make it. Saki's just going to have to say, I'm going to have to listen to my coach. Somebody needs to look up for these kids. All right, say nah. You can't have you going. You're not 100%. No reason to go on this. Go away. Cheddar's joined us. Welcome to the show. That's why we call him Cheddar's, but his name's really Chris Nix. So we call him Chris Nix. But he does like cheddar. His other mate was called Raisin Man, which sounds like a rubber superhero. Raisin Man. If you're feeling kind of blocked, if you're not flowing right, Raisin Man to the rescue. He'll set you right. He'll get you moving in the right direction. Oh, is that the Prune Man? Maybe that's the Prune Man. Maybe I have it mixed up. But they're similar, dried up fruit.
I was about to say the costume's just going to make him look like a prune. So, like, no one would know the difference.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to go, oh, look, there's Raisin Man. It'd be, why are you dressed like a giant prune?
You can't say it's a vacation. He literally went from Claxton to Margate, and Margate is definitely worse. I'd rather stay in Claxton. Nobody's in Margate. That was a joke. Come on, Colonel. You know the better. I like to complain about Arsenal fans complaining. Yeah, there you go. You know what? All of our rivals, they love Arsenal fans. They hate Arsenal fans, but they love Arsenal fans. They say, they don't care for the team much because, of course, they don't, but they just love what we do. A lot of our fans. I don't feel like I'm one of those fans. Maybe I am, but they like the ones that get all the play on the YouTube and Twitter and all of that. Sam is getting a sexy massage right now. Maybe.
Oh,
so wait,
100%.
Spencer says we got Super Kai Havertz. I haven't seen that yet. Been confirmed.
I think he's employing the caps as a form of sarcasm, as in I don't believe he believes he is super. I could be wrong.
Okay. I was more concerned about the we got part than the super part.
No,
if I told you,
could be wrong, but I think that's what it is.
If I told you going into the summer transfer window, what would be Arsenal's first transfer? Kai Havertz would have never been on your list.
Well, no,
not even on the list.
Well, no, because the amount of money they paid for him at the time and things like and the hype and all that, you would assume that they would want to make it work. But the problem is that they've brought in so many players in similar positions that allegedly they can't get the whole first team squad in the changing room. Like, people have to change outside and things like that in the corridor. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that right there is wasteful and very wasteful. Like, not only that, but they just spent 100 mil on Lukaku, and they're okay to let him go away. Like, City wasted 100 mil on Grealish by having him not play lots of minutes in his first year. Second year, he looks all right, but Chelsea 100 mil, nah, get away. I don't know how you say this. Quadja and Green doing well for the Aussies. Yeah.
He's already gone. One of them's already gone.
Oh, he's already gone. He had 96 runs when I see it. Is he already gone? You mean Green is gone, because I don't see it right now. It's Carey and Quadja are batting right now. So maybe Green was a bowler, because I don't see his name in there. So no. So there, he must be the bowler. You have a scarf that says Top Gooner. So there you go. See, you are a Top Gooner, Spencer. Welcome. Oh, it's themed after Top Gun. All right. Havertz has been their best player in the last 2 seasons. The Mountain is more of a fit for us. Havertz has been their best player in the last 2 seasons. Is that actually a moniker you want to have for Chelsea? The man scored 7 goals. I mean, Nketiah scored 5 goals in less time.
Because Nketiah is great and deserves respect.
So there you go. There you go. You would take both Mount and Havertz. Is that? Hmm. Hmm.
I would take all 4 of Real Madrid's midfield at least.
You went way out. You went way out there into to dreamland.
Yeah, I might. I thought I might as well.
Oh.
I might as well just go full. I'll lean straight into the nonsense.
Yeah, you guys talking cricket stuff.
Not?
I was doing the Super Mick Arteta chant with Havertz. I thought you were giving. I thought you were doing.
That actually
I
makes
thought you
more
were
sense.
delivering. I thought you were delivering us some news about what's going on in the world of football. You know, because that's what
I was wrong.
we try to do
I was
here.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will be back in a moment, Gary. Just bear with me.
No problem. All right, no problem. With either of you, okay, we'll get to this. Oh wait, well, we'll get to this one in a little bit. Colonel Ward. Let's see. Virginia military based, of course. We go. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I did watch the last Top Gun. I actually did like that. You know, I guess who doesn't like fast planes and being donkeys in the air? You know, that'd be cool. So yeah, the latest from Fabrizio is Ousmane Dembele is talking with Barcelona about extending his contract. So yeah, that's it for the last Luka Modric last trick. He will bring back Lisa. Oh, there you go. See that we always talk about players, but can you do it here? Can you do it there? Well, there you go. What if these top players come to Leeds and get them back into the Premier League? That would, that definitely goes on the CV. That definitely goes on the plaque that they get that says, top footballer. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Thomas stepped away, but he's still chatting. What did he say here? He preferred the second Top Gun movie to the first one. Well, I like both of them. I like both of them. They're I mean, if you look at the difference in time between them, right? It's probably, I don't know, 20 years probably. So yeah, yeah. Tom had to go do his hair. It's a wardrobe change. So we do it. He does it mid show. Like the big time entertainers. They do these mid show wardrobe changes. So there you go. And now Colonel Ward's going after the Americans. How's MLS going? Isn't it on in the summer? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't follow it that much. When I see it pop up on the thing, on a sports sticker, then I go, oh yeah, that's right, they're playing. Let's see if there's any games. You know what? Yeah, there are games. You're right. On Wednesday, the Red Bulls play Columbus, I think. So yeah, so it is going on. You're right. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Who do you think will be the biggest Premier League signing this year? Wait for. I guess I can answer that one. I guess. Huh. The biggest signing. Well, it's already been done, right? Bellingham, right? Is there anything bigger? I mean, Mbappe should be sold based on what PSG has said. If the man doesn't want to sign with him, they want to sell him, right? Well, there you go. That should be the biggest. That could be the biggest one. Um, Whoever gets Mbappe should be well on their way to competing for all the trophies, right? It's not working out at PSG. They just get the French trophies. They're not doing too well in the European landscape. So yeah, I think Mbappe should be the biggest one if PSG is going to stick to their word and their process. That should happen there. Yep, yeah. Bellingham is pretty good, but all that Real Madrid did right there by bringing Bellingham is just kind of now instead of having 100 million, now we got another 110 million on top of our our mountain of money. They're not. He does move the needle some because he just refreshes things, but in reality, does he? He he. The jump isn't that significant. They are a good squad. So I'm not saying he's bad or anything. I'm just saying they're a pretty good squad. You add a player to City, like you added Haaland to City, that didn't change them significantly like it would on any other team and most other teams. So just piling on basically is what they're doing. So yeah, I think Mbappe should be the biggest signing this season. We'll save this one for Mr. Tom and see what he says. He's probably gonna have some nonsense about that. You're he's like Madonna, but an even worse actor. Yeah, there you go. You follow DC United, but don't watch them, and so don't pay. Yeah, now I live in the New Jersey area, so I follow the New York Red Bulls, even though they play in New Jersey, right? So I've seen them play, of course, because like a lot of fundraisers for the kids' sports ends up going to watch a game. But I did go and watch them in the summer when Arsenal came to play. So I got to see Arsenal play Red Bulls, and Henri was on the Red Bulls at that time. So yeah, that was kind of cool. So the Red Bulls, they always seem to get on a good run, and then they start to dip. Yeah, let's just say I don't really care, but hope Norway batters Scotland today. Yeah, it's funny. People were, I saw a lot of people saying Scotland did. I think they were looking pretty good. Oh, was it Ireland? Maybe it was Ireland. Scotland. We'll see how they do. Is Tierney playing? He should be rested, right? He should be rested and playing. So let's see. I'll try to see if I can pull up. Let's see where we at here. Let's see what the what is on the what is going on in the football world. So, Mr. Tom, there's a question that was posed earlier. Um, you want to answer it? And you know what?
Well,
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There's two parts to this because I know how this thing could go. One, answer it with the nonsense button pressed, and then unpress it and then answer it as well. So I want to get both
that
sides. I enjoyed it.
it sounds like it's actually going to be Declan Rice, because if you're paying 100 million, I mean, Chelsea ain't paying 100 million for anyone this summer. Man City don't look like they really need to. Because obviously, a lot of Man City transfers are not necessarily done in terms like the fee isn't the large part of it. It's more the hidden costs. It's how they actually nab people. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's probably going to be Declan Rice.
No, you're right.
You know what? I didn't even comes out of left field.
You know what? What's funny is you actually answered the question. I didn't. I just answered what's the biggest signing. I think I read the question correctly, but I just answered my own. I answered a new question. I answered what the biggest signing would be. So if you're gonna put, I didn't actually. The Premier League part didn't stick in my head, I guess. But yeah, if you put it this way, you're right about that. Well, okay. Can you give me the other answer?
Junior Firpo.
There you go. There you go. That's what I was hoping for. But you did answer the question, Bargav. Sorry, I did not answer your question, but Rice should be the biggest one based on where we are today. Not sure anybody else is going to go for over. It's going to be, the expectation is they're going to be over 100, 110, 120 kind of. So we'll see how that goes. So just a quick update on some of the scores going on right now. Luxembourg is up 2-0 on Liechtenstein.
No, they won 2-0.
They won. What did I say?
That's over.
That's over. You're right.
Beat Liechtenstein 2-0. It's finished.
Yeah. Lithuania and Bulgaria drew to a 1-1 tie. Lithuania had a red card in it. Coming up later, you've got Norway and Scotland, Cyprus and Georgia, Albania, Moldova.
Football scores, right? This is genuinely true, Gary. Sorry to interrupt. Zambia beat the Ivory Coast 3-0 in the African Nations Cup qualifier, right? Sorry, as they call it now, African Cup of Nations qualifier. Serge Aurier, I think I don't know if he still plays there, but I know he's formerly of Tottenham. Apologies if he's still there. I don't think he is. He scored an own goal that is incredible. He manages to top corner an own goal. It's from the edge of the box.
Did he just really shank it, like really poorly? Like how? What?
He basically slides to try and intercept a through ball, and then ends up like chipping the goalkeeper.
Hmm.
It's really good.
Wow,
If you
pretty
actually
good.
scored it in the right, if you scored it in the right end of the goal, you'd be thrilled. It was really good.
And you know what? I didn't see Pepe's name on there, so Pepe did not make it to the Ivory squad team. So there you go. So he doesn't play.
Tottenham with him wherever he goes. So.
Yep. There you go. Oh, pretty cool. I do see the on goal. So what else did I have there? The Faroe Islands plays Czech Republic later on today. Azerbaijan plays Estonia, Belgium, Australia, Montenegro, and Hungary. I got Iceland and Slovakia and Portugal and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Yeah. So those are the
fair, right?
games planned for today.
It's a genuine opportunity for Scotland to actually lay down a marker that they're serious about their chance of qualifying for this tournament.
Mm.
If you beat both Spain and Norway, then there's every chance you're going to get in the top two.
True.
Or at least the third spot.
Yeah. Yeah. So
don't get me wrong, they've only got to stop the world's best striker from scoring past them.
Yeah. You've got so Harlan looks like he's starting, and you've got Erdogan will be playing as well. Yeah, but New York, like I said, New York Red Bulls is close to me. What else we got going on here? The Nuggets have 3 players on a total 1.7 million per week. We can get by. And we're talking about the Nuggets. Did you see? I don't know if you saw it. There was a post. Josh Kroenke with the basket NBA trophy, celebrating with the teammates with the team, and he's got on an Arsenal hat. Imagine that your owner is celebrating your first time playing in the finals, your first win in the finals, and the man's got an Arsenal hat. Are you kidding me? Like, think about this. Arsenal wins a cup of any type. Who cares? The man shows up with a Rams jersey, a Nuggets hat, a scarf for the Avs at the trophy celebration. What the world is he doing? Like what? Like this perception is like, come on, common sense. And what? Are you kidding me? You really
could not. In his mind, it's like, oh, we're all a big family. Like we own all of these teams, and you're all under the same umbrella. But football fans don't think like that.
No fan thinks like no fan sits there and goes, well, like you're not going to turn around because the 49ers conglomerate now owns the Leeds, that you're going to bring on a Leeds jersey, right, and go to the game and watch Leeds play, right? That's what you're going to do, because that's what he's kind of doing. So the first game of the season, now that you're under this umbrella of the, which encompasses the 49ers, you're going to wear a 49ers jersey to the first game of the season. Is that what you're going to do?
I would rather shit in my hands and clap than do that.
There you go. So I think,
not big on it at all. Not big on it at all. When the 49ers did make the Super Bowl, though, Leeds did make the effort to get players in 49ers shirts on the Twitter, and that was an interesting afternoon of social media.
There's certain things that just don't work. Nah. Like I said, no, don't do it. It's silly. You think Neymar stays if Mbappe leaves? Yes. No, is he? Who's going to pay him? Who's going to pay him? Who's going to pay for him to leave? He's not. He's not Tierney. Kieran Tierney, but he is injury prone. Similarly, he's not going to give you the 30, 40, 50 games that you want in a season. All right. I don't know what you think. Even if they want him to go, even if he wants to leave, he doesn't carry that much weight. I'm going to say real quick too, Alex has joined us from Cannon Fodder TV. Welcome to the show. We are just chatting it up here. What else we got here? Do you think KC will ever invest in Arsenal signings the same way as they do for the American franchises? It's not. That's not really a good question to ask because there are rules in
It's
American
not
French sports,
fair
and
in
so
the
it's not.
same way.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, there's no like in English football or in world football, you can spend whatever you want on a player. There aren't caps. There aren't like rules that say you can't spend this much money. There are rules as to what happens when you do, but not
I
like
think it
saying,
more the opposite way. I think more the opposite way to what you're saying, as in, like, you could spend a certain amount of money on Denver Broncos. Like, you could spend Russell Wilson, for example. I know we don't own the Denver Broncos, but they brought in Russell Wilson on a lot of money, but their business model is still set up in such a way that they will make a profit regardless, because as long as you stay within your salary cap, you make profit. No NFL team loses money. Whereas in Premier League or in football, our football, very few teams turn a profit because,
yeah,
like you said, there's no upper limit, as in, and because the penalty for failure is so much worse than it is in the American sports model,
yeah,
you risk so much more. Therefore, you don't make. There's It's like people have said, don't invest into football if you want to make money, because you're constantly going to be laying out money on players and what ages and things like this, and you're only remotely going to see that money back if you qualify for the Champions League, and
yeah,
then that creates the next level. You've then got to bring in players that are the caliber to keep getting you in the Champions League. So even then, you're not really making a profit.
yeah, yeah. Nah, no, I hear you. No, but you know what? But that's where you have to be disciplined in your approach to this whole thing.
Mm.
If you know, like, if Arsenal knows that putting out 120 mil for Rice is going to significantly, you know, hurt hurt them as a squad in the immediate or in the far future, then they shouldn't do it. But as Brighton has shown you, you don't need to go out and spend a lot of money to get quality players. You just have to give them time to grow. Arsenal doesn't do either. They don't go out and spend the top money on players that they want sometimes, and they don't let the players that they have grow. Right? We all looked at
Their wheels will fall off, though.
yeah, but Brighton, you know what? If Brighton is disciplined, it won't. It doesn't have to. Like everybody's like, how do they keep doing this? You know what it is? It's because they give their players time to grow. They give them, like we always talk about. Well, that Fabio Vieira probably should go out on loan because he's not going to get the minutes he needs to get prepared for a Premier League season. Right? Guess what? You go to Brighton, you get those minutes. Right? That's kind of where that's the difference I see there. The big clubs, like the way Arsenal manages their players is like if you went out and spent money on a player and you don't play them, then you've done either bad evaluation of the player. That's usually what it means. It just means you just did a bad evaluation. If at some point you go, I can't play you anymore. So how did you evaluate them and do better the next time? Right? They've done this too many times. Lakanga, Nuno Tavares, who else do we have? Like all these
Yeah,
players
but you
they bring in, and then all of a sudden, surprise, surprise, it's not going to work. Why is that?
Yeah, but as you say, there's levels to this, and Brighton aren't trying to finish sixth. They're trying to finish above 18th. They just happened to finish sixth. They're not aiming for that. They just hit a point where it was like, oh, now this is a level we can go to. But still, next year, their goal is to not get relegated.
Yeah.
They might tell you different, but the truth is, they just want to be in the top 17.
But you know what? Their players didn't play like that, and you can tell
No,
when
they
it.
didn't.
For me, you can tell when a team's like motto is like you say, just to survive the Premier League and finish, 17th and up. Right? That's kind of what you're saying, and a lot of teams that trickles down. That for me, mindset trickles down, and then you see your players, and you're going, why am our players performing the way they are? Guess what? Because the team just really like if you strive. for 17th, guess what? You're not going to meet your goals every season, right? You're not. So
Yeah, but
sometimes you are
that's
going to
how
you
your
you're
team.
going to you're going to get relegated. Like the big six, as you call it, what they're striving for. They're all striving for. Some of them are striving to win the champion, win the trophy. Some of them are striving for top four. Some are top two. Guess what? Sometimes when they fail, they fall. Like I shoot for the stars, hit the moon, kind of thing is what I say all
That's
the
how you
time, right?
fell out of the top four, though.
You know,
That exactly
exactly,
how you
and that's
fell
how we
out of the
fell
top
out, and
four.
that's exactly how we fell out of the top of the table. Is because y- I'd rather us be trying to win the whole thing than to trying to win top four. No, and you hear other channels and people say something similar to what I'm saying, but they'll say it they use the words that you don't like, and you get upset about it. But the ultimate goal, right? We want it. At the end of the day, all the Arsenal fans want is to see our players walk across the stand in the stands to pick up their medal. That's what we want, right? We want them to pick up their medal. We want them to be on the field picking up a trophy, putting it up in the air, all of that. The only way you do it is if you're trying to get that. And for me, that's why I always say the goal is to win the trophy, but the expectations and the milestones have to be realistic, right? Like right now, the goal for Leeds is to to win a Premier League trophy, right? Just so happens that they're a level below. So the only way they can do that, the milestone that they need to hit, is finish in the top two, so they don't have to get in a playoff. Or if they get in a playoff, win that playoff and move up, right? So that's the milestones that you legitimately can hit because you've done it before, right? And you want to see it happen again. So it's not something that's beyond uh, a
Football's a lot
goal.
different now, though, because of the money. Like
No, it's different because of the
the
money,
gap.
but that you don't get that money if you don't get you don't hit some of your milestones. All right.
No, I get that, but I just mean like when we won the top division before, we spent a bit of money, but it wasn't the same level as. It was way more even, and basically a team could do what Brighton did, as in perform above themselves and shoot up
Yeah.
the table, and that
Yeah.
was more. It was less shocking because there was 10 teams that had it in them to do that. Whereas
Yeah.
you can't. It's. I'm sure you get what I mean, as in it's it's obviously less equal because of the fact that you're going against teams that are owned by countries.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get
Like
it.
when Leeds won the league, when Leeds won the top division, the owners were local businessmen. Like it might be the
Yeah.
guy that owned the local steel factory in Blackburn or something
Yeah.
like that. Whereas now you're up against Saudi Arabia, which is a whole different kettle of fish.
True.
And you might be able to outperform them in one season. You may be consistent enough in one season to finish above them. But over the course of 10 years, not going to happen because they'll just fight, they'll work out, they'll see instantly why you finished above them that one time and they'll spend the money to fix it like that.
That's why it's important to grab hold of that opportunity when it comes. That's why a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal fans will look at this past season and go, "Well, damn, it can't get any easier than that." Right, it can't get any easier than that. You didn't really have to struggle through any of the domestic cups. You did a really good job in the Europa League group stages. You didn't really need to win the last two matches or not to move on. Um, you had a chance to win, and you played the last game at home in the knockout round. Um, Everything was in your hands, as they say, and you let it slip. Yeah, essentially, you had a sitter in front of the goal, and you whiffed, and you shanked it, and you hit it wide over the top, whatever. So for me, that's why I always say you should always be striving to win everything because you never know. That could be your season, right? You're saying that yes, it's hard to beat City for 5 years in a row, but you can get one on them every so often. Teams have done that, right? So Arsenal had their opportunity, and for me, they let it slide. Pretty, and they let
Oh
it slide
yeah,
the same
no.
way. They let it slide the same way they let it slide. They let top four slide the season before. They did.
Well, yeah,
They didn't take the
you
risk.
lost the league.
Yeah,
They won the league, but you lost the league because you
yeah,
were in a situation where you had to play them twice when you were
yeah,
already in front of them,
yep,
and you just had to not lose, and you'd have probably won the title.
yep,
But you lost twice.
yep.
I mean, no, I mean not to rub salt in your wounds, but I
Yeah,
mean
no,
black definition.
I'm with you on all of that. We
Hmm.
had our chance and we missed it, and that's why I'm always saying like Arteta, the mindset has to be I need to win this one. I don't care about what happens tomorrow. Let's win this one, right? Especially after the way the Liverpool match went. That stink. They had to get that stink off. I don't care who you're playing next. It doesn't. It could have been City. The stink needed to get off. That's not the way you want to you look at the score, you're like 2-2, yeah, that's pretty good. You look at the way the game played out, right? And you're like, nah, that's not the way we do. That's not how the way we play here. It's not what we do all this work for in the practice. Is not why we bring these players in, is so that we can go in these type of situations and not take advantage of it. So that's where we dropped the ball. And like I said, you never know. You don't need to, like right now, you need to take advantage when your time comes because you never know when it's going to come. All right. Right. That's why I say, like, like the Leicester Cities, their time came and they, as far as the way that they played that season, they looked like a team that said, you know what? If everybody else doesn't want it, we do. And they did. Right. So you never know when it's your time. Statement signings. Yeah. Arsenal needs to, make some statement signings, and Rice would be a good one for me. So here we go.
I mean, if you're spending 100 million
Yep.
and it's not a statement signing, then what is?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Well, Grealish in the grand scheme of things wasn't a statement signing because it
It
took a year
wasn't.
for it took a year for it to come to fruition. And if I told you you're going to make a statement signing, but you won't see the fruits of that particular signing until a year later, I'm going to say that
See,
is not a
I
statement
think it
signing.
was. No, the reason I think it was is a different reason to why you're saying it's not. It was basically we are going to buy the best player outside the big six and barely play him, which is a statement in of itself.
But that's not what you mean. That's not what this means, and you know that. What you're saying is they're just basically rubbing it in your face. Look, we don't even have to play them, and we're still going to win the league. We're still going to go deep into the Champions League, right? We go to the semifinals of the Champions League. We're going to win a. What do they? Did they win another trophy as well? Right, besides the league, I think they might have won They won probably the Carabao Cup, probably. Right. That's what they
They've
did. So
won
it's a
like
statement.
5 trophies.
It's not a statement in the sense that yes, this is going to get us over the hump. That's not what that was. It was a rub it in your face statement based on what you just said. I don't think they did that, but that's how it played out. It played out exactly like that. Like we're bringing in Grealish. He's just, you know what? This is like I said earlier. You got £100 million on the table, and you get another 10 million. You just put the 10 million on top. Does it look any different? No,
But
it's
that's
a
a
little bit taller.
statement. When I also say
That's not what
statement,
you know.
what I
It
mean
yeah,
is
but
no.
no.
No. Let me put it another way. That Jack Grealish had a release clause of 100 million. It was set at 100 million because Aston Villa did not want anyone to pay it, and Man City just went, "Yeah, there you go. There's your 100 million. Come along, Jack. See how you like the bench for the next 12 months."
True. Yeah, you guys are
That's a
talking about
statement.
it.
That
No, it
is
is.
a statement.
But you know what? That wasn't City's statement. That's not what I don't think they brought in Grealish and said, you know what, we're gonna rub it in your face, even though that's exactly what happened. That's not what they did. They were hoping probably. I mean, yes, they're okay. They can absorb a player taking their time to get acclimated to the squad and the way they do business. But that's not what they.
I know what
That
you
wasn't City's.
mean.
Yeah. No,
I know what you
you're
mean.
taking it verbatim.
But
Yes, it was a statement, but that's not what a statement signing is. That's not what it is. When you look at the definition of statement selling, it isn't we're gonna do something and it's gonna turn out negatively, but it's gonna make everybody else feel bad about it because guess what? It didn't matter. They still won the league. That's
But they
not what that
never
meant.
intended to not play Jack Grealish. They have a plan which
Yeah.
involves integrating people into the
Yeah.
squad
So
gradually.
a statement,
Apart from Haaland.
you don't spend 100 mil on a player for that statement. That's not that.
No, but they're
Like I said,
so
it's not that.
far ahead of everyone else that they
Yeah.
can do that, and they
Yeah.
do, and it works.
We're going to disagree on this one, but it's not a statement signing, Mr. Tom, in my eyes. But we're talking a little bit about this NFL, the American franchises, in the English and the Premier League, for example. You can't go out there and even if you not transfer or trade a player, they call it over here, the money has to make sense. In basketball, if you trade a player who's worth, for example, 100 mil, the other team has to spend. They need to They needs to be equal on both sides. So somehow it needs to equal out in basketball for sure. For instance, so you can't just say I want to go out there and I want to get whoever the best. Say the best player is Nikolai Jokic, right, from Denver Nuggets. To get him, it's going to cost you a lot of first round picks, players of say he's 100 on the scale, it would have to be two players on a 50 where they add up and they're really good. But you cannot. It's not
Is
like
that
you can just
why
go.
Is that why you get trades that are like three players going
Yes.
one way and one player? All right.
Yeah. So it has. There's some that. So they try to keep things partial. There's a lot of partiality in it. Everybody, you can't just go out there and get the best player and usually get a really, and just put money on the table and that's it. It usually ends up being players going both ways. And so it's not the same, right? If you wanted to get Mbappe, right, and 150 mil is what it would cost, you would have to essentially give PSG players worth up to 150 mil, essentially, if that was the worth of Mbappe, right? So that could be three players worth 50, one like it'd be a Rice and a Casado for Mbappe kind of a deal, right? And that would be a steal for PSG to get Rice and Casado for Mbappe if that's where their needs were. But Mbappe is really good, so it's really tough. Yeah. So it's hard to compare the two, the way the business works, because as you can see in even in the U.S. sports, there are a lot of teams that are always at the top, but the Broncos just won. The Lakers have won. Every year you look at NBA, different teams are winning. Same thing in the Super Bowl. It's not always the same team. You can go on a run for about 4 to 8 years, but it eventually, because of the money, you end up having to let your players go or your players leave for more money, and the cycle continues. See, if we're a big club, we need to act like that, and the culture stems from the ownership. You're right. Like it's the culture and the ownership. The difference is you're comparing the U.S. culture to the European culture, for example, and they're not the same. It's just not the same. So you got it. That's why somebody else should be running Arsenal. It should we shouldn't be looking at KC as like they're the ones running it because they're not. It's not the same business model. It isn't. It isn't. Unless you're going to work like City and Newcastle, but they don't want to do that because they're like, why do I need to do that? I don't do it over here. Well, it's totally different. It's a totally different beast, a different structure. So, zero ambition since they took over and we deserve much better. You can't say that. They're going to spend over 600 mil when this window's done in the years since they've taken ownership. Their problem might be accountability to the people that they hire to do the job, but it can't be like it's not about the money they've invested. They're saying, here, you're making all this money, do a good job with it, right?
Is it fair to say, right? And I don't know the internet. Is it fair to say that they did so poorly at the start of their tenure? And I know it goes back, but I'm thinking like you gave these like exorbitant contracts to like the likes of Aubameyang and stuff, that it's taken a while to recover from doing business in that way.
Yeah.
And you're only really just shaking off those poor decisions.
Yeah. Well, you see that those for me, those are all the reasons why they had the wrong people doing the job for them. Right? They like Raul and all that people that were running the team and the money, the deals that they were making, they weren't helping Arsenal in the long term, as we saw, and a lot of money under the table, that kind of thing. So that's where the Kroenke's ambition, if you want to call it zero, is they don't have people who are accountable for what they're doing. All right. The marketing is great for Arsenal. There's enough fans that no matter what they do, people will spend. But the way they handle the football side of things for me is not that good. It's not good. It should be much better. They should be able to get the best people to run the football club. They should be able to do that. They haven't done it. Like Vinay, Edu, Arteta. If I told you those were the three play, can you find better in all three areas? You can. You can. Even Arteta now, you still can. And I always say Arsenal first, and that's where I am about Arsenal first. That's why if Arteta has to go, he has to go. Because can we do better? Yes. Can we? Would we be in the same situation as we are now? Probably not. We might be better. We might be on our next manager, but but you have a plan and you stick with it. So I agree with Tom. There's exactly how Man City psychology works. I don't think Man City's psychology is we're going to go out there and do this to belittle the little people. I don't think that's what they're doing. Because that's what it sounded like Tom was saying, is that they were doing it and they didn't even have to. Like, you can't afford to spend as much money on a
No, I'm not
player
saying they
who
don't have
doesn't
to.
play.
I'm saying they have a plan. I say they
Yeah.
have a long-term plan when doing it. I don't think it belittles anyone, but I think it makes the statement to everyone that they can.
Yeah.
That was my point.
Yeah. See, here is this.
I don't feel belittled when Man City gave us £40 million in cash for a player that we built from nothing.
Yeah,
I don't feel belittled by that.
Yeah, you can't be in the Premier League and not accept money because of your morals and all of this. You might as well just get out of it if you're going to go to that route, because now you're doing your business, your team the wrong. You're doing them wrong. So it's 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 good and bad, I guess. It's just part of the way you have to work there.
It sounds like you misunderstood my argument.
No. I knew what your argument was. I just didn't like it because you're taking statement signing and then flipping it on its side and then saying it's still a statement signing, and I'm saying it is not. Like Harlan is a statement sign in the sense that they got everybody said they got him to win the Champions League, and guess what they did when they brought him in? They won the Champions League. They won a treble. Right? That's what a statement signing looks like. That's why you brought him in, to do exactly what he did. Right? And it happened all within 12-month period. Like, that's what a statement signing looks like. They dominated the league. The man had over 50 goals for the season. That's what it looks like for me. A statement signing. That's how they look.
But
That's how
it's
they work.
still a statement to the league that they can spend 100 million on a player and not have to use him. That is a statement.
Yeah.
It's not the same
matters.
statement, but it's a statement.
Glenwood, thanks for coming to the show. Yeah, I hear you. Like I said, we're not going to agree on it because you're going to take it literally, and I'm going to tell you it's not.
No, but I'm not saying that what you said is wrong. I'm just saying it's not necessarily.
I'm saying what you're saying is wrong, then, because.
and you will be wrong when you say that, because other people are going to see what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, there are worse owners. Yeah, the Kroenkes aren't as bad as people say. They could be a lot better for sure. But I mean, they do to some degree care. I just don't think they care enough, and I don't think the rules are in place for them to make it easier for them to have a better team. Like if this was run like an American franchise, they would as Mr. Tom said, they would spend top money on their players, and they would, like in the U.S., if you go over a certain amount in your salary, you could pay a fine or a fee or a tax. They would be happy to do that. Now, I did see a comment earlier about the Nuggets going out and getting the best players. Guess what? Their top two players were in the draft. They didn't spend all this money to bring them trade. They didn't have to trade for them to come in. They actually grew up within the squad, right? They are your sackers, right? They are your you look at all these, the Fodens, the players like that come up through the academy. Essentially, these players were long. They didn't cost them anything. So it's, their top two players for the Nuggets were drafted, I think, in the same draft, and they kind of worked together and grew up together, kind of playing basketball. So, nah, it's not the same, and the way it worked out for them works in the NBA because you can take your time. And the only reason why they didn't play better is because was it Murray had injuries in the playoffs the previous 2 seasons. He eventually was able to stay healthy. See, you saw the results. We are a business. We aren't a state-owned operation or oligarchs playing. Come on, yeah, no, it's everybody's. It's a business for everybody, though. Then the Conky's ambition has been zero. Sorry, but they've spent the best part of £500 million since. Yeah, that's what I said. They're putting them. They're allowing the team to spend all the money that they can. They're allowing the team to spend all the money they can.
I think it's fairer to say that Cronkies have spent money. They just had a long period where they didn't spend it very well.
Yep. No, yeah, and to some degree they still are doing that right now. Right now, some of their they like even the last summer window, they still have players that they put money into that you look at them, you go, your evaluation on them was poor. Like Lakanga
Pepe,
is not.
you're thinking of Pepe.
No. I'm not thinking of Pepe anymore because that's old news for me. And that's before the regime that we have in now in terms of.
No, but it's the best example of you overspending on a player that hasn't come even close to producing what you paid for him.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just don't look at it anymore because I think for me it's old news now. I like it. I like to look at what I see right now. And what I see right now is like a Conga and a Tavage, who are players that they didn't cost as much as Pepe, but what they brought them in and how they were going to use them, it just has not worked. And they took a risk and it failed.
Would it shock you? Would it shock you to discover that Norway are dominating possession against Scotland? Would that surprise you?
They are dominating. Have they scored?
No,
they haven't scored yet.
Nothing like that. No, they're 75% possession, one shot on target, one block shot. So a lot of passing the ball around, not making anything happen. 22 minutes in, Norway 0, Scotland 0.
This is where, like, when I look at the Norway team, like you've got Erdegaard and you've got Haaland, and they're supposedly good buddies. They should be dominating this thing. It should, right? I mean, like your buddy plays. He's one of the top strikers in the world. It should be really easy. It should be.
Scotland are playing a back five though,
so no, I get it. I get
set up to prevent. Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, it's like at some point it opens up, and you have to. This is where that one opportunity happens, and you put it right there, and he puts it away, right? So, as Gunnar says, I've been saying that Arsenal's a joke in the market. Every season has been proven they fail to get the priority. Yeah, like for me, if Rice is your priority target, it should be done. Like we can't go another summer going, well, our priority signing isn't getting done because we didn't want to spend the money. Then why, like, what in the past led you to believe that either you do it, you give them the money, or you stop and you move on? Like if Rice is going to cost you too much, then you stop. I get the lower bids coming in, but you knew the answers. They knew the answers to that. At some point, you got to get a feel for this thing. West Brom are effectively owned by the Chinese governments too. Don't see them dropping billions in the transfer market.
It's very good, Ryan. It's very good.
Yeah.
I've got a question to answer.
No, we'll get to that in a second here. I just want to hold off. I know you want to get to it right away, but I just like to let you just fester for a little bit. Sit there. I believe that signing Rice is a statement because of his value, rather than he is not worth that, in my opinion. But to West Ham, yeah. No, it's a statement signing for Arsenal for sure. You spend that much money, especially after, like you said, what happened to Pepe. You want to do this thing right. Yeah, like you say here, you got a luxury tax. So everybody has to spend a certain percentage of their revenue that they bring in those leagues. You go over a certain amount, and then you pay a tax, right? But teams will do that, right? Because they can afford it, but it gets costly. It's not a 5% tax. It's pretty significant. So yeah, the Walmart family isn't an oligarch. Yeah, okay, and it's not the Walmart family. It is a daughter of the Walmart. She owns what, probably 10-20% of the business, if that, in terms of her worth. So, and that's not her thing. Her husband is her husband's thing. So she might not even put any money towards it. Or, I mean, Stan Kroenke is a
They
rich
should
man
borrow
by
me a
himself.
fiver.
Yeah. Taib, welcome to the show. And here's a question from Mr. Tom, because he's been just sitting there eagerly waiting for it. Tom, who did Leeds get in the new season fixtures for the Premier League? Oh, that
I'm
that
glad
is, you know
you
what?
asked
Whoa, whoa,
that.
whoa. That is that. Wow, Ryan, you went there. That that he's just he's just poking. All right, go ahead, Mr. Tom.
Okay, Brian, who did Leeds get in the new season fixtures for the Premier League? Our opening game is against Fuck You.
Heard it here. And that's what you're going to get
However,
from Mr.
However, Mark Goldbridge of the United Stand asked a similar question, where he went, Man United are playing Leeds on the Oh Never Mind, which was ironic because if he'd have actually done his research, Man United are playing Leeds in a pre-season friendly on July 12th. So again, fuck you, Goldbridge.
Yeah. So yeah, I think whenever we see Mr. Tom on the show, he will have nothing to say to the haters. You guys they're all hating on you, Mr. Tom. All hating on
It's
you.
fine.
I like you. That's why you chat with us. Ryan Troll Level 1000. Tom, don't answer that. Oh, he's like, I'm just asking for a friend, as he giggles. Yeah.
Is that friend's name Ryan?
Yeah. Yeah. KC get for winning. Then I don't even know what the team gets. I know the players get a playoff bonus, one for playing in the playoffs, and then it goes up the further you go into it. So if I recall, like the players also, just like they do in the Premier League, they have those bonuses built into their contracts if they win. Um, and they go to the playoffs if they win a certain number of games, all this type of thing. They win a trophy at the end of the season, they get bonuses that way. So I know one of the players got like $1 million bonus, but I think they do there is playoff money that gets spread around. Not sure how big it is. Sometimes it gets close to a player's salary for those that sit on the bench. So yeah, it is. I don't know the money that the team gets, but I think the team gets some money as well. But if you think about it, there's the revenue, as somebody said earlier, the TV revenue goes up, but also guess what? Every playoff game that you play at home, that's more money coming in. So yeah. Hey Paul, how are you, bro? Did I miss Paul? Who's Paul? Did I miss somebody called Paul? I don't know.
Paul.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but yeah. Tom, when do they're just needling you. They want to know what's going on.
They come out on Thursday, Russell.
It's raining all kinds of juices here. Okay, Sam, I asked you to send me
That's
some
definitely not
pictures.
PG.
Yeah, don't send me the
Definitely not
pictures.
PG.
I don't want those pictures. All right, keep those pictures to yourself. That's I mean the county championship. Wow, they just roll. They just go. They're not keep going at you. Yeah, Mr. Ryan. No. My new sunglasses are making me paranoid. Everyone seems shady. There you go. First joke of the day. Very good. Very good. Very good. You'll see. I'll be up quicker than Leeds tonight. Wow. Sam is on a massage table getting ruined.
But it took us 16 years before, so I should hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, we are sitting here. It's about 90 minutes into the show. Was there anything else I wanted to chat about? Yeah, we hit our 150, so thank you again for those who have joined and subscribed. Keep doing that. See if we can move up to our
Yeah,
next level. Thank you for that. We
yeah.
enjoy that. We,
Send it
we
to
try.
your non-Arsenal supporting friends so I can have
Yeah,
some backup.
there you go. Yeah, yeah. Anders was in earlier today, so you had somebody. You had somebody on your side there. So yeah, we're what 4 or 5 days into the transfer window. Arsenal has submitted a bid for Rice. It's been they say immediately rejected, but who knows when it was. Second bid is on its way. I don't know if it's actually been submitted yet. We'll probably find out that it wasn't accepted once again. They did submit a. Then Castagna came up, I think, in the news. Oh, look at the kids over there, Mr. Tom's place. Castagna came up. Everybody went after him and said, What are they doing?" And now Juventus supposedly is interested in him. So, interesting, right? Caseta was always on the radar as a secondary target or the second target for Arsenal. Uh, Chelsea lost out on Ugarte, so now supposedly Caseta was the next up. So they went after him. Arsenal supposedly stepped back and said, "We're not interested." Yuck. Kai Havertz's name came up. Everybody's like surprised. Arsenal fans are half of them are like, "What?" The other half are like, "He's actually a good player." The Chelsea fans are like, "You can have him." All the other rivals are like laughing. But then they're supposedly talk that other teams are looking at Kai Havertz as well. I think it's just the amount. Arsenal should not rush into this thing. He is not worth that on their budget. If you're going to take a risk on a player, take a risk on. I'd rather them spend 100 on Casado than the 70 that they're looking to spend on Havertz. If I told you had Rice and Casado, I think everybody will look at that as statement signings, serious statement signings, things that actually look like they're going to work, and they would make a difference in the squad. And no matter what you do up top, you're going to be okay for it. Even if Xhaka leaves, you're going to be okay. So I kind of feel like that's a statement signing right there. That's what it looks like, Mr. Tom. That's what it looks like. Why? So why would Kroenke have two of his top players being drafted just before the last few matches of the Nuggets? What? No, they've been those two players have been on that team for about 3 or 4, probably at least 3 years, probably 5 years. So this didn't just happen all of a sudden. These players were drafted and they've been in the system and they've just been getting better and better. I mean, Jokic, who is their top player, won the previous two Players of the Year trophies and missed out on the last one, and then ended up winning a finals and winning an MVP in the finals. So, yeah. So it wasn't. So when you get drafted, he got drafted years ago. Years ago, they got drafted, him and Murray. So yeah. This is Sam said I bought a paper mache with your face printed on it, Russ, and told the kind lady to wear it for an extra. Okay, one, Sam, too much information. Russ, he's gonna have nightmares. He's gonna have nightmares. That's all I'm gonna say. Just think of no. I was gonna say just think of Sam tonight, and that. Wow. Yeah. Let's see. To be fair, Leeds probably got more than Leicester City to get promoted next season. Mm. Mm. You know how it is. Let's see. The Nuggets drafted the players. Yeah, you guys talking that through. There's nothing worse than a wicket on a no ball. So what does a no ball mean? Because I'm trying to figure this thing out. How does that work? What's a no ball mean, Mr. Tom? Like your kid's still screaming?
I believe it is if it's like a wide or something, or they
Does that
can't
mean
hit it.
does that mean somebody hit the does that mean the batter hit the wicket, or does that mean they actually hit the ball and we got called and they got a wicket taken? Like how does that work? I don't
It's
know.
deemed to be an illegal delivery to the batter.
But you got a wicket on it. How does that work if it's illegal? I don't
I
know.
personally don't know because I haven't seen the actual. I'm not watching it, so I haven't seen
hear
the
you.
incident in question.
I hear you. Yeah, the transfer history with Chelsea is dire, and it's not. Everybody's like, why are they always saying Chelsea? Well, it just seems to happen every time we have a deal with a Chelsea player that doesn't work out most of the time. Jorginho's, I think, actually worked out. I actually still believe David Luiz worked out. I think Arteta screwed that up. So I don't think the player was as bad as people think. I think the way they were utilized was
Well, the player
William.
wasn't out,
No,
Gary. The
huh?
player was bowled, but it's a no ball, so he survives. Is my understanding.
Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh, we
He
might have
stepped over the line.
yeah, we might have somebody join us if it works. Let's see if it works out. Gary Romero, Lavia from Southampton are now the backup options for Casado, which I think is a good and better priced option. Yeah, missed it. Yeah. No, Lavia looks like his name keeps coming up. People were talking about him and then say, no, if you're going to Casado, you don't need Lavia. Well, if Casado's off the table, out of the list, then go get him. How does Declan Rice say goodbye? I hope to see you agreeing soon. Oh my gosh. Wow. That Spencer, oof. It's hard to give you high points on that one, but that's a dad joke, as they say. Like a dog with no nose. How does it smell? Wow. Yeah.
It
Thanks,
doesn't,
Spencer.
because it's got no nose.
Yeah. You're right. All good. That's why it's so hard to compare. Yeah, you can't compare the American sports. The American sports are built for a lot more parity. Any team can win it. You can go from first, you go from last to first in your division in sports. You can't do that. You can't go from 17th to top of the table. It doesn't happen too often, but it can happen um, where you're like looking poorly. Overstepping by the bowler. Okay. All right. A no ball in cricket is an option for the batsman to give it a free hit if I'm not mistaken. All right. I'm getting some cricket rules today. Cool. Australia's day so far. They're up 2-7. It's 270 for 5. They are 123 behind. Let's see. It's about 5:30 over there in the UK. So Khawaja is 113 right now. He's seen 242 balls.
They're almost certainly going to be forced to follow on, and England will have 3 days to bowl them all out.
See if they get close today. So wait, so just to make sure, so England is done batting.
No, what I mean is, unless Australia get more than the 393 England got, they're going to have to bat again. If at that point they then cross over the 393, England will then have to bat. But if they don't, then they lose.
So Australia gets 2 tries, essentially,
Yes.
to hit
Yeah,
that
but so
mark.
do England. But
If they need to, if they need to.
If the team that bats second doesn't get more than the team that batted first, that team bats again. And then has to obviously.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? If I explain
I know.
that
Yeah. No. I think it made sense to me. I didn't get how sometimes like Australia would play England back in the days, and they would destroy them, and they would put England in the field, if I recall, and just destroy them. And then England by the time they got to bat would be just drained, and as you said, they would get two tries at it, and they wouldn't even come close, if I recall back. This would have been.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and now England's actually competing a lot better now. So, yeah. Mr. Tom, I got a question for you from Guna Matters, Glenwyn. Mr. Tom, what is the objective for Leeds to be promoted straight away with the lack of ambition?
It's genuinely hard to know what to say to these sort of questions, because obviously I want to say, oh yeah, the aim's to go back up. Oh, of course it is. But the reality is we've got no manager. we're going to every single player is essentially putting a transfer request, apart from Luke Ayling. We don't know who they're going to get replaced with, so I can't sit here and go, yeah, we look good for coming back up, because I can't even tell you the squad's going to be in a month's time. I can't even tell you who's going to be picking it.
Yeah, there's no chef in the kitchen, and the ingredients is getting stale.
I'll tell you, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Daniel Farke, the Norwich manager, former Norwich manager. That's what I think it's going to be. But at the same time, that presents concerns, because we're obviously he's experienced that he's won the championship twice, which is ideal for the situation we're in. But then if that happens, it's like, but his win rate in the Premier League itself is terrible.
Yeah, and
So,
at some point, you want to get somebody who's going to sustain your, just be a really good manager in something, right? When they move to the Premier League, like Bielsa, I think could have, I think the recruitment didn't match the players that he wanted, and that's why things failed. When you bring in a man, I think Bielsa is really good at the attacking aspects of the football. And when you don't bring in players that suit that in the Premier League, it looks the way it did towards the end of his days, right? It started out with a bang because nobody knew what they were going to see, but eventually everybody got, they got hip to it essentially, and Leeds started not being, being predictable.
oh,
Because the players,
that first game, Gary, I swear this is true. When in the Championship, the first game Bielsa managed, Stoke had been relegated, and Stoke were favourites to win the Championship and come straight back up. And then we murdered them on the opening game, just obliterated Stoke. Like it, I was shocked by it, so I can't begin to imagine what Stoke thought about it. They must have been like, what the hell have we walked in? Ellen Road, it was different to the Ellen Road you've seen of the last year. It was full of shocked people like, wait a minute, we're actually good.
Yeah. And you know what? And that right there is why, that's why when Arteta was being presented, like what you just explained is what I believed Arsenal needed. They needed a manager that would go in there and basically shock the system, because we had been used to, we'd seen some people hadn't seen what they expected from Arsenal. They wanted to see something closer to like competitiveness and, some surprises. Arteta wasn't going to do that because he doesn't have the knowledge and experience to do it. But a manager who does, and that's why I think when Arteta goes up against these experienced managers, he always fails, because they have so many years of experience behind them. He's got 4 years, they've got an extra 6. And they've been doing it at tougher environments, in the sense that they've been playing at teams that aren't expected to win this. And they've just been challenging just to stay alive sometimes. So yeah, that's what a good manager will do, and that's why I wanted a seasoned manager, a young up and coming manager with experience. So here we go. So is there any chance for the academy players to be introduced in the first team to use as a quality backup? I think that's for you.
It's likely, but the problem with using too many academy players is that you then get a literal case of boys against men, and you get steamrolled. For the best example of that is the Arsenal versus Leeds match, when Leeds had all the players injured, and we played. It was it was all the academy players and Rafinha. We got murdered. You can have the moral high ground all you want, but the reality is we got killed, and that's the problem with that. That's why you get to take Man City don't put out all academy players, because they'd get killed. As good as they are, you need to put 1 or 2 in, get them accustomed to the first team, so then they become first team players, and then you bring in more. But if you throw 5 or 6 into your 11, you're essentially an academy team.
Yeah. But you know what? For me, I hear what you're saying. I believe they should do that, but teams aren't even doing that. Like Arsenal now, for the last 2 or 3 seasons, hasn't taken an academy player and introduced them to the squad at all. They've sat on the bench. They've played maybe one game. They played Nathan Nwari, played like 15 seconds or something like that. He came on in the 90th minute of a match.
Mm. That was
But
really
they
disrespectful, by the way.
like at the end, like I was like, what are you doing that for? Like that did not, and as it sits right now, he may not even want to play for Arsenal. So the whole like marketing, the whole perception, like, we want you, that's why we're putting you in there. It didn't work because guess what? You can see through the smoke cloud that you put up there. They can see through it. You don't have a plan to introduce them to the first team at all. All right,
It was done to take the piss out of Brentford.
Yeah, and you know what? Arsenal doesn't do well with that because it always fails. Whenever they try to show someone up, it never works. It never works. Do you think Leicester's new manager will have the same impact as Arteta?
I think, and I know Ryan has got an opinion on why he hasn't, but what you got to keep in mind is at the time he managed, I don't know who he did manage, but he said he got sacked within 5 months. He didn't have access to the Manchester City youth team at that point. So basically, Leicester are going to loan in Man City players because he now knows Pep and has a pipeline into that team. Like Vincent Kompany loan Man City players because, again, he has a pipeline into that team.
Yeah, and you know what? And for me, I don't know. That man looks a lot more experienced in his football career. Meaning he's probably done a lot more either before he's sat next to Pep, and he, as you said, he actually worked in the academy system as a manager, right? So he's been unsuccessful, and there's reasons for that, but he's done more work than just sit beside one of the top managers in the world. So for me, he's got more experience than Arteta does to start this thing. So Arteta's experience, I believe his impact will be more than Arteta's. He just won't have the same amount of money, so he's going to have to really coach these players up, right? I mean, he knows what, he's seen, like, for me, that's where there'll be a difference. So the results might not look as good as Arteta's at the end of the day, but Leicester has been in the league for a while, so you can see them coming up, and it's a challenge. And we'll see what they do. I think.
Leicester are at the level they should be at, though. Like them winning the title was a massive outlier, and everyone knows that. But generally, like 19 seasons out of 20, they are battling relegation or fighting for promotion.
True.
Historically, like. They are basically now back to where they usually are as a club. They failed to take advantage of the opportunity that was provided by winning the title. And by that, I mean, like, maybe not always fighting for the title, but getting that top 4 spot. Like, if they 2 years in a row on top 4 on the final day, and that's what actually killed Leicester.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, and you failed the exact same way. Like Arsenal failed to succeed in 2 attempts, but they were different. They were levels. They went up a level each time. So you look at that as some growth, but you look at you still need to cross the line. Yeah. So yeah. So Ryan says no. Now, like I said, I think he could have a similar impact as Arteta. It's just the money will be different, so it will not look the same. You'll look at it and go, "No, it didn't look the same." But because the fact that I think he's got a lot more experience, it'll look different, and we'll see how that goes.
It depends on what Man City players he brings in, though. That's what it really depends on.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it also depends on how I just think the experience that he has will be more than what Arteta's impact was. I think Arteta's still learning. This man he's already managed, regardless of he's already managed. Arteta never managed.
Well, as much as I'm sitting here going, if we get Daniel Farke, he's won the championship twice, good pedigree. Marcelo Bielsa had never managed in England before.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Sorry, he had managed a match in England for Atletico Bilbao against Man United, and he beat them. But generally speaking, he'd never managed for an English club or anything like that.
Yeah.
And one of the old Leeds managers were like, he doesn't know the league, he doesn't even know the country. He's just gonna be a flop basically. And he was wrong because Marcel Bielsa's just brilliant wherever he goes. And a lot of people will disagree with that. A lot of people will say, no, he's not brilliant everywhere he goes. He was shit in France. He was shit in France twice or whatever. But I just hold God to a different standard, basically.
True.
Great.
Yeah, no, see, this is actually something Arteta has not happened. And not, so this man got sacked within 5 months of managing a team, but he's still sitting on a bench next to Pep, which means there's something there. Yeah. So I kind of feel like that in itself shows me that there is something there that like he likes some. If you're gonna look at Arteta and say he's got something, this man probably has more because I think he's a lot older than Arteta and has done a lot more. I mean, let's see here. It's funny. I like to look at some of the pictures of him when he was, without his hair on. It's like he looks like almost like Grealish there. 43 years old. I mean, Arteta is what, 42? So let's see what he's done in terms of his managing.
He was the manager of Parma in 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
But he basically won before he went to Parma, he was at Man City where he won the Premier League 2, like the under-21 Premier League title.
So he's got some success there, right, in his coaching career. I mean, he was an assistant. Arteta didn't do that for. This is for how many years? This is for. It's only for 2 years. 3 years. 3 years. I don't know how many years Arteta was an assistant, but he actually did manage. He did manage. Like you said, level to second level. Arteta's never done that. He did to get his own job, got fired. Arteta's never done that.
No, but Arteta only really got the Arsenal job because of the combination of the fact that he was Pep's assistant and he had also played for Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like having actual experience was irrelevant to him. It was you need someone that with a connection to the fans, but also a kind of credibility that gets from Pep thinks he's half decent. Like you're saying about this guy, same sort of thing. But he also had the advantage of he wasn't Unai Emery, who was hated.
No, like I said, I think he comes a little bit more on his CV. Not that it's that good, but he's actually had experience and he's actually coached a team before.
Basically, this could go really well, or it could go really badly. But he's only going to see out the season with Leicester if he gets promoted.
True. That has to be it. But yeah. No, I just think there's experience to this thing that Arteta doesn't have. Whether he's going to do better, I kind of feel like experience always seems to beat out Arteta when it gets down to it sometimes. So,
interesting.
That's how I feel about that one. But yeah, not 5 months more than Arteta. It is, but is it a significant amount? It is in the sense that he knows how to interview for the job, go in there with expectations, and see him fall flat in his face. Sometimes you learn a lot from your failures than you do from your successes. So, you like to think he's going to do better the second go around. The difficulty that the championship teams face is the fact that they hardly get to use those players because the pressure to perform to be promoted is huge. Yeah. I mean, academy players, when you're trying to survive in a championship, is probably the two kind of conflict. They probably conflict. In my opinion, he has more ambition and ruthlessness than Mikel Arteta, and that will be a success if you want to compare. Yeah, I don't know if we can. We'll see about the ambition and ruthlessness. I mean, if he's learned from Pep the ruthlessness of how this thing works, then yeah, Arteta to some degree, or Arteta doesn't, for me, doesn't deliver that through to Edu in terms of how things need to work. So, but yeah, Unai Emery was shafted by Arsenal. Raul and that upstairs team completely screwed him over. Yeah, and back. We talked about backing your manager. Arsenal did not back Emery, the way he needed. I mean, he came with a much better CV than Arteta. He asked for things they didn't deliver because it was all about the money for some, and it failed. Um, and he went off and then he won another trophy. Um, so yeah, I think Arsenal did him bad. If they wanted Arteta, they should have just I guess waited, or they should have backed Sevilla. Sorry, should have backed Emery. But here we're gonna get out of here in a little bit. I do have. We'll talk. I created some new videos, but I've been waiting for the new signing. Not gonna happen yet, so you're gonna have to wait for the new videos for the new season, because for me the new
Have
season
you
doesn't start.
made a video of Declan Rice?
I don't do that kind of stuff.
You said you was waiting for a new signing, though.
Yeah, but I like for the intro and exit videos for the show, the outros, the intros. So I done that. So I'll show it to you since you're begging for it. All right. So you're begging for it.
Yeah.
So here we go. So here we go.
Totally begging.
So this is the new intro. I think this is this is the new intro. See if you like it.
This is DWTT coming to you from the Emirates.
Cool. So that's part of the new intro. So enjoy.
Filmed yourself buying a program.
Yeah. That's BX. I bought the program for me in BX, right? So that was when I did that. So yeah, I just that was the walk from the Tollington over to the stadium. So
It was good. It's a good video.
So that'll be the
Where's it
intro.
gonna go next?
So you have a minute. So you have a minute before you have to come on, so people can enjoy that. But yeah, so Mr. Tom Spencer says he likes the video. Cool. So Mr. Tom, say good night or say goodbye to the peoples.
Yeah, as usual, thank you for your time on a Saturday afternoon / evening. It is appreciated. Have a good week. Hope everyone's well. See you around the YouTube landscape. Vamos. Leeds.
Cool. Everyone, once again, thank you for joining us. We'll do this again. I don't know if Sam will be back the next time we do the show, but we'll see where he's at. Thanks for joining us.
3 weeks.
Or was it 3 weeks? So it'll probably be another weekend before we see Mr. I want to say Mr. Tom, Sam. We'll see before we see Sam. He should be all tanned out, ready to go. But anyways, thank you for joining us. We'll do this again. As I like to say, life is a journey. Don't waste a trip. Enjoy the ride. We'll see you on the next one. All right. And we are out.